A shocking investigation. The psychics will face an unknown force living inside a 19-year-old boy. Can they save this tormented soul? This is Psychic Investigations, a project of true and astonishing stories. Here, people who call themselves clairvoyants investigate tangled criminal cases and incredible paranormal phenomena. This is Dima. He's 19 years old and lives in Ukraine. At first glance, he's no different from other young men. Tall, handsome, with an incredibly genuine smile. But when night falls, he changes, and even his own mother can't recognize him.
His face twists and becomes inhuman. It's terrifying to look at. Sometimes he moans, growls, meows, and even barks. It can happen 6, even 8 times a night.
By morning, the boy remembers nothing. His bruises and injuries are the only reminders of these nightly horrors.
I've had seizures. I used to fall out of bed. I hit my shoulder against a chair. Here's the scar.
Marina and her son have visited dozens of doctors. However, nobody knows with certainty what is happening to Dima.
The doctors say it's incurable. They can't explain the cause. This is your cross to bear, they say.
How can we save him and free him from this? We've reached out everywhere.
Dima's peers are enjoying normal lives, studying and starting families, but he no longer even goes outside, never knowing when or where the next episode will strike.
Dima went to the market 2 or 3 months ago. He collapsed and slammed into a concrete post. He was covered in blood.
Marina is raising her daughter, Paulina. The girl is now 4. After Dima's nighttime episodes, the girl suffers from hysterical fits, so now she goes to see a therapist.
She's afraid of all this. She cries and screams.
Marina fears leaving the children home alone, worried Dima might accidentally harm his sister during a seizure.
It's just terrifying what could happen.
What is happening to Dima? What strange affliction torments him? Why does the boy suffer from these terrible attacks? And how can they be stopped? After 13 years of living with her son's illness, Marina has nearly lost hope of finding answers. She says the psychics are her last resort.
I saw Krista Urban's work, so I decided to send her Dima's drawing by email.
Krista Urban is a medium from the United States. Her son is also 19, like Dima. She began working with the boy's drawing in Florida as soon as she received the email from Ukraine.
As soon as I started working, the lights in the room flickered. My vision darkened. That's a bad sign. It looks like it was drawn by a little child. But at the same time, I saw the hand of a grown man.
Dima was born a completely healthy child. His first seizure occurred when he was 7, in his first grade. Just 6 months later, doctors prohibited him from attending school.
He started throwing toys, scattering them around the apartment, tearing pages out of books. I said, "Dima, don't do that." But he'd glare with wild eyes and rip the book apart. Then he became more aggressive. He hit other kids and could even bite them.
At first, the strange episodes occurred once every 3 months. Now they happen up to 10 times a night. Most distressing, though, is that doctors can't explain why Dima's intellectual development stopped. At 19, he functions at the level of a 7-year-old child.
I see a force grabbing him and hurling him against the wall.
It's like something picks him up and throws him across the room.
His body feels split in 2. One half is human, the other is some strange creature with flickering red eyes. As I say this, my amber bracelet vibrates. There's definitely a supernatural influence here. I truly want to help this woman. And I'd like to invite the Ukrainian clairvoyant Jana to work with me.
After coordinating with Jana Shulikova, Krista Urban flew to Ukraine, traveling nearly 9,000 kilometers to help Dima. The psychics set out to meet his family. beginning their work en route.
The person who drew this picture is lost between two worlds. He can live in both, traveling between them through something like a tunnel. When others encounter someone like our artist, they become afraid, and they reject people like him.
It's true. Dima has no friends. While adults treat his illness with compassion, young people ridicule him.
This child is paying for something one of his relatives did. It seems like they made a deal with the devil.
The psychics arrive at the place where Dima lives. Marina is already waiting to meet them.
My son has problems. Strange things happen to him. I want to know what it is, where it's from, and how to make it go away.
We need to speak with the boy.
Is that possible?
Please come in.
Hello.
Hello,
What's your name?
Dima.
I'm Jana. May I take a look?
Let me finish.
What are you drawing?
A sparrow.
Looks nice.
Just need to add wings real quick.
If you're okay with it, may I hold your hand? No, your hand, please.
All right.
Did you fall?
2 days ago, I think, I must have hit something.
You're doing really well.
To avoid unintentionally harming the boy, the psychics chose to speak with his mother in a separate room.
I have an intense headache and my teeth ache constantly. It feels like I've been punched hard. I can't stay here. I'm going to be sick. Let me step outside.
Krista Urban and the boy's mother also stepped outside.
I don't see Dima's illness as having started in this apartment.
Well, we moved here.
The family has lived here for nearly 8 years. Dima's first attacks began over 10 years ago.
When I was reading him, it felt like he was under the influence of some kind of medication, but I'm not sure what.
Aminazine and,
Tranquilizers.
yes, they turn him into a vegetable. That's why I don't take him to the hospital anymore. They can't help, only harm.
After Dima's first seizure, doctors struggled to make a diagnosis for a long time.
His seizures were like epilepsy, and they diagnosed epilepsy. But I don't believe that's what it is. The doctors try to help, try to stop the attacks, but nothing works.
I feel his illness is connected to something otherworldly.
During the investigation, I sensed that someone very close to him was at the root of his suffering. It's strange, but every man you've been connected to seems to leave at the hardest possible moments.
I raise my children alone.
Marina has been married twice. Her first marriage brought her a son, Maxim, from her second Dima and Paulina. When she was pregnant with Paulina, her husband left the family.
I get the sense that when that man left, he was meant to do something that could have led to Dima's healing.
I sent him off so he could earn money, to take our son to specialists.
In their small village, both now and when Dima's illness began, there were no jobs. So the family decided the father would go away for work.
My husband was offered a job on a construction site. He came back 8 months later empty-handed. I realized he'd met another woman. Still, I hoped he'd think about his son. But I was wrong.
Marina's husband met another woman and remarried. Several years later, he invited Dima for a visit. The boy stayed with him for a few months and then returned to his mother. After that, the man broke all contact with his children.
He didn't even want to speak to his children on the phone.
I see an adult woman and a sick girl next to her. I used to work in a psychiatric hospital, and the girl has the same vibrations as the patients I worked with.
My ex-husband lives with a woman and her daughter isn't right either.
It turns out the child in Dima's father's new family is also ill. But why are such children born to this man? Could the problem lie with him?
When I tuned into that girl, I realized he wasn't her biological father.
She has mental impairment. And now that she's grown up, she started talking to boys and had a baby.
The girl has Down syndrome. When she gave birth, doctors barred her from raising the child due to her condition. To keep the baby out of an orphanage, Marina's ex-husband had to adopt it.
It's so awful.
I sense there's another sick child in that family.
It must be Dima's cousin. His situation is even worse.
I want to see that child.
Dima's cousin, 7-year-old Sasha, began experiencing strange episodes about 6 months ago.
He tried to smash the TV on the floor, threw holy icons, tore down the curtains. That strength wasn't his. It was the force of 4 grown men.
What's even worse, while Dima's episodes occur at night during sleep, Sasha's can happen at any time. In seconds, he becomes a monster.
They can't diagnose him. He used to be so kind, affectionate, and gentle, but now I can't recognize my child anymore.
Sasha's mother, also named Marina, says his health is deteriorating daily. Like Dima, he studied for only half a year. Now he doesn't even go outside. And when this boy with mysterious attacks ends up in hospital, doctors are left helpless.
We had to restrain him. I was afraid he'd be thrown from the car. He's shockingly strong. I've never seen such aggression in a child.
He's been hospitalized multiple times. He was given a narcotic injection, but it did nothing.
Strangely, both cousins experienced their first episode at exactly the same age, 7 years old. Just like Dima, Sasha stopped attending school, and no diagnosis has yet been determined. Without wasting time, the clairvoyants and Dima's mother head to the place where Sasha lives, the same building where Dima's first seizure occurred.
Marina, this is Jana and Krista. They came to help me with Dima. And they saw that your boy has issues too. They'd like to speak with him.
Just before you arrived, he did something terrible. He was throwing things, tossing stuff around. The aggression is constant.
Upon entering the apartment, the clairvoyants instantly felt what was happening with Sasha.
Quiet, quiet. Let him go into the room with his toys and he'll calm down.
I see a man. He was attacked by thugs, beaten and thrown into a dark hole, something like a well.
But who is the man the psychic sees?
He was clearly murdered, badly beaten.
My father. They found him in a well. Nobody knows how he got there. He lay there for a week or two until he surfaced. The truth behind it is still unknown.
I feel his death wasn't accidental. Throughout this entire story, I sense a woman's dark energy. She's behind his death.
At that moment, I understood that both the man's death and the boy's illnesses are tied to a woman. A close one. So we had to find who she was and what she did.
It feels like an evil spirit has taken hold of the boy and won't let go.
Energetically, he resembles a tiny demon, a vicious little entity that lashes out. The force inside him is what we call an energy presence. If you asked a priest, he'd say the boy is possessed.
I took him for a cleansing ritual. Terrible things happened there. He vomited, flung things, hurled whatever was in reach. They had to restrain him and said he was seized by demons. I just want to know where these demons came from.
It's an energy mass interfering with the boy's personality development, especially affecting his central nervous system.
This is the work of a woman with deeply negative energy. We need to find her.
Krista, I'll step away from you for a moment. I need to be alone with myself. By that moment, I already knew which woman was the source of the children's illness. But to confirm my intuition, I decided to perform a ritual. Could you call your mother here?
Of course. Why not?
Please call her. Take a seat. Let me be direct. Marina found herself drawn into your family, your lineage, and your troubles by pure accident. These problems don't concern her. I have just one question. How often, in different life situations, do you turn to healers, prayers, spells, and such?
Not once, never.
Let me be blunt, Marina. They were very glad, so to say, to welcome you into this family.
There was only one conversation. Serhii, look, she has a child from a previous marriage. That's all. And he said, "It's okay, Mom."
Even though she couldn't stop her son from marrying her, she still got what she wanted. Their separation, that was his mother's doing.
She didn't want to wait for him. He didn't call home for a year. She filed for divorce herself. And now she's looking for someone to blame.
He didn't come back because he found shelter elsewhere. When I asked for help, you all shouted in unison, "These are your problems."
When Dima got sick, his father should have treated him. But he abandoned him. And that's how the number of sick children in the family increased. He left his son behind and went on to raise a sick adopted daughter. Then Sasha was born. Let this be clear, you must never abandon sick children. This isn't about magic, but a person's energy. It's heavy, black, thick, and vile. Whether consciously or not, your mother-in-law and your own mother spread this toxicity to the world around them. For example, when she gets furious and blurts something out in anger. Have you noticed that it comes true? That's what I mean.
All that negativity was aimed at me.
Where would it have come from?
That's how it is. My energy is weak and yours is strong. That's the problem, you see?
You could just say, "May she lose her hair," and tomorrow your daughter would be bald.
I agree with you. You can say something cruel without realizing the harm it can do me.
It turns out the mother and daughter have lived close by for years, yet never truly found common ground. Marina admits that in the past, she cried over every little thing.
Any cruel word, and I'd start crying. Now I just don't have tears left.
At that moment, I had a vision. The grandmother of those sick children deeply loved her husband, the one who was found in the well. In her youth, he cheated on her, but she desperately wanted to stay with him.
You did something truly horrible in your life.
The wish to keep someone close can be overwhelming. You desperately wanted your husband to stay.
That woman loved her husband so fiercely, even though he was unfaithful, that she prayed to God to help her keep him, but nothing worked. Because he wasn't destined to be hers. So she turned to the devil, and he helped her. But there's always a price. Your thoughts materialized, they all came true. And you are to blame.
Pure nonsense, absolute nonsense.
After those words, the woman quickly left the room. But is it even possible to help Dima and Sasha and rid them of their terrifying episodes?
Let's begin with the older boy, your son. Since we examined him first, what's inside him is very dangerous. Let me explain. Over so many years, this second entity becomes like a second self. If someone tries to rip it out, there's a high risk of damaging his core personality. The consequences can be terrifying. I've seen people end up like lying corpses.
I completely agree with Jana regarding Dima. Whatever is inside him must not be touched. However, I brought this black tourmaline stone with me. I'd like to perform a ritual with Sasha.
Can I join you?
Yes, of course.
We advise all viewers with sensitive psyches or young children to step away from the screen. What follows may negatively affect your health.
Who's in there? Hold this. Look at me. I command what's inside leave this child.
Let me go.
Good.
The demon inside him is very strong. It's trying to jump out the window. Leave this boy. I banish you.
No, no, Sasha. Sasha.
Demon, I'm driving you out. Leave.
The American clairvoyant forbade filming everything that followed. She said it could harm the crew's health. She only exited the room 2 hours later.
I tried to connect with the demon inside the boy and drive it out, but it hid, like behind a wall. After a full day of psychic work, I don't have enough energy left. I suggest bringing in someone even stronger energetically, or ideally, a priest.
But can it be removed?
This entity knew we were trying to drive it out, and it resisted. But you must act while the boy is still young, because later, the evil will completely possess him.
What the clairvoyants sensed and experienced today makes the hair stand on end. Marina asked for help to understand the illness afflicting her 19-year-old son, Dima. The psychics discovered that another boy, Sasha, was also suffering from these bizarre episodes. And as it turned out, all of it stems from their shared grandmother, who once tried to change her destiny through dark forces and brought them into the family's life forever.
Now we know where it all came from. Thank you.